Welcome into the Paul Farrington Show. Paul joined alongside Jack Weinberger and Robert Ziggy Ziegler at the University of Virginia. Zach Bloomquist, producer Zach, is celebrating the last night of our old studio's house with his family. So he's pouring champagne and reflecting on the good times. He just sent us a picture of the old studio for the last time. So he's off taking care of business there. Hopefully next week we get producer Zach back with us. The NFL draft is 1 week away, guys. It's pretty crazy that, for all the talk we've done about this, the quarterbacks, where will they go? It'll all be settled next week. Some of the mailbag questions we have today, we'll talk a little bit about the draft, but should be a really exciting one for several reasons. And yeah, off the top of our mailbag, we have some quarterback NFL draft questions. Now, if you haven't seen our episode from Tuesday, you should go and check it out. Ziggy and I went through where we think those top 5, 6 quarterbacks in the draft are going to end up going in the first round, if in the first round at all, where some of those teams who are picking high and need a quarterback, whether they'll go in the direction or not. So if you haven't seen that, go over and check it out. Remember, if you can't watch on YouTube, you can always listen and /watch. You could actually watch on Spotify now, but on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts, another way to check out this podcast. And a quick shout out, guys, to Greg Frolic. Would you say Frolic? Froelich, Ziggy. Frolic?
Frolic.
Yeah, could be Frolic. Could be Frolic.
Frolic? I think Frolic.
I'd probably go Frolic.
I'm thinking Frolic. Greg Frolic, who won our March Madness tournament. He sent in, clap it up for Greg. Congratulations, Greg.
Congrats, Greg.
Greg,
did he have UConn Purdue final? He nailed the final and had UConn winning.
I didn't look at Greg's bracket, but I'm assuming.
Wow.
Yeah, well, he had UConn winning, but I didn't see his final. I realized that I couldn't. It was definitely UConn Purdue because I think anyone, like, I came in 7th in the pool and I had UConn Purdue. Probably would have won if no one else had it.
Yeah.
Of course, Greg is a Packer fan, so that's a little unfortunate. He sent a great message when he was picking out a shirt because we said, whoever wins, just please get in touch with us. We'll get you your shirt, whatever piece of merch you want. He goes, I'm probably supposed to go with the I Heart Love shirt, but I'm a 48-year-old man, so not exactly my style. I'll go with the PFS show T-shirt. So,
but for those of you who are not 48-year-old men, the I Love shirt continues to be up there.
Yep.
It's you should get it before Jordan Love signs that mega extension, which you can see as we talked about a few days ago, because it's coming. And you can be one of the ones before Jordan Love made it big. You were a supporter.
That shirt's a hot commodity.
It's a great shirt.
I'd hop on.
It's a great shirt. You could go over to paulfarringtonshow.com where we have, and go to our shop where we have the Jordan Love shirt and actually a lot of other fun shirts, including the Friday Junior shirt, which it is today. You could get our Friday Junior shirt.
I wear my shirt, darn it.
Yeah, you could get that on paulfarringtonshow.com. So with all that said, a pretty fun mailbag today. Why don't we dive into this? We got great questions, and we appreciate everyone for sending them in as always. First one from Sledge96. He says, can you guys compare and contrast the 2021 and 2024 QB draft classes? How nervous should Vikings fans be of trading up for a quarterback given the low success rates for round 1 selections? He says this year's draft class feels very similar to the 2021 class with a clear number 1 QB, total of 5 projected first round quarterbacks here. I would say that the biggest similarity off the top is just the number of quarterbacks in the draft. That's something that everyone can notice. From 2021, 2024, you had 5 quarterbacks taken in the first round of 2021 draft. We're probably going to get 5 or 6. I know Ziggy thinks it'll be 4 in round 1 of 2024. But yeah, I would say right at the top, you had 2 guys at the top, Lawrence and Caleb Williams, who everyone's pretty confident in. But other than that, and that's like you said, Sledge, but other than that, there are a lot of question marks. Zach Wilson, Trey Lance, I think they were bigger question marks in people's eyes than maybe Drake May and Jaden Daniels are. Would you agree?
People forget COVID took away a lot of tape from, particularly Lance. There was basically no tape on this guy. Wilson, there was some tape, but not a lot of tape against big-time competition. May, Daniels, and McCarthy all have tape against bigger and better teams.
Yeah, think about remember everything coming out on Zach Wilson. Again, BYU quarterback, but it was just, did Wilson face adequate competition? Probably not. I mean, it made unbelievable throws, and Trey Lance, there was a lot of potential there too. But with Drake May in particular, feels like I think he would have actually gone number 2 for sure behind Trevor Lawrence in that draft. I like this class more personally.
Yeah, I remember in that 2021 class, I was a huge Trevor Lawrence fan coming out of Clemson, and I still do have high hopes for him. I do like him overall. I liked him more than I like Caleb Williams.
Mhm.
But then that 2 through 4, like I like Daniels and May, and honestly, probably even McCarthy more so than I liked the number 2, Zach Wilson.
I love how we're sitting here in hindsight. Like clearly after Zach Wilson, Trey Lance appear to be busts. We're all like,
Yeah, no,
you know what, this 2024 class way better.
But I didn't like those 2 coming out of college from BYU and North Dakota State.
It was all hype.
Yeah, I like 4 of these QBs. I liked one of those QBs.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I think the other interesting question you asked is, should Vikings fans like Paul and I be worried about trading up with the low hit rate? If this is a good class, 3 of these guys will be starters. 2 of them will be well above average stars. Well above average, I mean like top 12 quarterbacks, right? I don't mean 2 of them top 5. That would be a very good outcome from this class and from these 6 QBs. So that's not a great hit rate, right? If the Vikings trade up, there's a 1 in 3 chance they're getting an above average starter if this class is good. But the Vikings still shouldn't be worried about trading up. Why not? Because the hit rate is even worse the later you go. It is just so rare at any position, right? Quarterback's not unique in this, but it is so rare and so difficult to find a plus starter in the NFL, much less a double plus or a triple plus starter, that you have to take the chance. Because getting the 5th or 6th best quarterback in the draft is much less likely to succeed than getting the 2nd or 3rd best quarterback in the draft.
And also for the Vikings, obviously we're a little bit nervous about hitting the pick. If we miss this pick, there's some pretty severe consequences for the Vikings.
But if we miss this pick, are we put further behind than the Christian Ponder era? Right, sitting around and doing nothing and just taking the quarterback who falls to you is not any better.
I agree, but assuming we trade up and maybe even trade next year's first, you start to put yourself a little bit behind the horse here. But I do think it's worth. Yeah, you have to make an effort. Think of all.
But that's the thing. I don't even think it's true. You're really putting yourself behind the horse, right? Because you lose out on another 1st round pick. That matters. But again, like look at what happened in Christian Ponder, right? He set the Vikings back 3 years.
I mean, maybe more.
3 years, maybe more, right? Give up 3 or 4 first round picks. How long are you really set back? 3 years, maybe 4 if it doesn't work out.
I mean,
I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
I don't want to do that again. that was horrible.
Yeah, but my point is sitting around and waiting is not any safer.
Like also to wrap this question up, and I know the counter to what I'm about to say is guys like Big Ben Roethlisberger, Josh Allen, blah blah blah. List can go on, but I am a firm believer in quarterbacks who come from the Power 5 and have shown success against Power 5 defenses like Daniels has against Alabama being the best of the best. There's more confidence overall than guys like Trey Lance out of North Dakota State and guys like Zach Wilson out of BYU.
Or guys like Mac Jones out of Alabama. You can trust that those guys aren't going to bust. Justin Fields out of Ohio State. You can trust that guy's going to get it done.
But you watch Jaden Daniels play and what he does against these SEC defenses, you feel like, oh, this guy's good.
You watch Justin Fields against the Big Ten. I'm just saying.
Oh, no. Yeah, you can make, we can make these arguments. I think Justin Fields is much better than Mac Jones, too, though. Like Mac Jones or Justin Fields, I can think a world where he could.
Only one of them made a Pro Bowl.
Fields is much better than Trey Lance and Zach Wilson.
It's no, but the Vikings have to take the swing. Most of the successful teams in the NFL, think about Mahomes, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Stroud. Like you just go through all the Herbert. I mean, everyone, Lamar, Hurts, they all are
Power 5.
But they all, you just have to get lucky a little bit and nail the pick. So we'll take a swing. We'll probably swing it.
Like Lamar was like a Jaden Daniels back at Louisville. They're similar.
We got from. Would you like?
I was just going to say one thing I've seen that's really silly. Ravens fans will appreciate me saying this, maybe for the first time ever on this show. People are coming out and saying Jaden Daniels is like Lamar Jackson, but a better thrower. I bet Lamar Jackson would have been regarded as a better thrower if you put 2 first-round wide receivers and another season on him. That's all I'm saying.
I hate it. I'm done with the Lamar throwing. So Jeremy sends a lot of questions. We appreciate you sending them in
throw
every week. Yeah, I was waiting for that from Jack.
He really can't throw. He's not a good thrower.
Jeremy says, could you guys rank the NFC North GMs in terms of their drafting acumen? Who's the best and who's the worst? Yeah, you're smiling here. Do you have an order?
I can't.
I have an opinion. You both longtime listeners of this show will know how I feel about drafting. basically nobody is any better at drafting than anybody else. This is just over the long run, over people who keep their jobs for long enough to tell. There is no draft edge to be had, or if there is a draft edge to be had, it is marginal, right? The thing that matters is your draft strategy and getting lucky. So honestly, I think all 4 NFC North GMs are almost certainly on a par. It's, people point at guys like Ozzie Newsome and say all-time great drafters, and they were good drafters, but part of why they were really good drafters is because they approached the draft the right way. So I appreciate the question. I appreciate the thought. There's no way to tell who's the better drafter, and they're all probably about as good.
I disagree. So
now Paul's going to go with his guy. He's going to say Kwesi 4th because I don't like one move Kwesi did. Gutekunst once. He hit on one draft pick that I can remember.
No, I'm gonna. Well, you're close here. I actually think that Brad Holmes.
Actually, the Packers GM is 1.
I'm gonna go Brad Holmes with the Lions at 1. Listen to these drafts for Detroit since he took over. 2021 gets Penei Sewell and Amon-Ra in that draft. 2022 Aiden Hutchinson. Off the top, I mean that was a great pick, but Jamison Williams I think is okay. And then last year with Gibbs, Campbell, Laporta, Branch. I mean those are 3. When you talk about the cornerstones of this Lions team.
Sorry, Jameson Williams is okay. You know how many career yards Jameson Williams has over 2 seasons?
He's okay. He's okay.
395 yards over 2 seasons. Sure.
He's had a couple big plays. So anyway, I think Brad Holmes. Now look, you can make the argument for Gutekunst too. You go through his drafting here over the years. I believe now. Correct me if I'm wrong, anyone, but I thought 2018 is when he took over. Then from 2018. Jair, then 2019, you get Elton Jenkins, Rashawn Gary. 2020, you drafted Jordan Love. Stokes has been a little bit. We'll see. We'll see how Stokes goes. But Quay Walker, Dobbs. He actually has drafted really well. Christian Watson, Zach Tom, Musgrave, Reed last year. Brian Gutekunst has done a really good job. Damn, Packer drafts have actually been pretty good here. I'm going to keep Brad Holmes as my number 1, just for the hell of it. And then Gutekunst, then I'll go. I don't think Ryan Poles has really done a great job in the draft, but given his trade, I will put him above Kwesi because I don't like the Lewis Scene pick still. So Kwesi has a lot to prove to me in the draft at this point, so that's where I'll go.
Yeah, I agree. Kwesi has to prove he can get lucky.
Kwesi is not. Who was he drafted other than Addison that you sit back and go, wow. That was a really great pick, Kwesi. Phenomenal. Yeah,
Kwesi has to prove he can get lucky.
Sure, fine by me. I like Kwesi. He's done a good job. The T.J. Hawkinson trade was awesome, but Lewis Scene pick was bad. If we had to rank, from Elise 1715. What teams do you think will be the most surprisingly good this year, and which one will do surprisingly bad?
Oh, I always like these questions.
Do you have a team off the top of your head?
Let me conjure something up here.
While you're thinking,
I
actually think that the Bears could be surprisingly good. Now, do I think they're going to win the North? No. But if Caleb comes in and plays at fairly high level, above average by midseason, I think this team around him is really good, both offensively and defensively. I can see the Bears messing around with a wild card spot.
Their win total's 8.5. Do you think they're going to beat that by a lot?
I think that the ceiling for Chicago is 10. Now that's a good.
I see. So the ceiling is 1.5 wins over the win total.
Yeah, I think that. I don't think the general public, maybe Vegas says that. What did you say? 8.5?
Yeah.
I think if the Bears made the playoffs, that's a surprise playoff team for next season.
The team that I have that I really think is going to exceed expectations, win total 6.5. I've got them penciled in at 9 or 10 wins. Arizona Cardinals. People have listened to me, but I am high on this team.
Wow.
I really think with Kyler going, with probably Marvin Harrison Jr., with a defense, with Gannon coaching for a second year that should be a little bit better. They had a tough year last year, but one of the things that was impressive is even when Kyler was out, I remember at the beginning of the season, I was shocked. They held in there with really good teams and even beat some of them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is a well-coached, well-functioning team that's ready to play. 6.5 feels really low to me, given what they're capable of doing.
You got Team Jack?
Let me come up with something right now.
This whole time you can't think of
It's a good question. Surprisingly good.
You believe in the Steelers to beat 7.5?
I think they will. That's the most bet team to go over their win total so far is the Steelers over 7.5. Maybe the Colts. I think they'd be pretty good. if AR can hit close to his potential, what he was
I like the
drafted
Colts
to
too.
do.
I'm very excited to see how they play next year.
Surprisingly bad. I don't want to say bad. Maybe underwhelming. Is the Texans.
Yeah, I was gonna say surprisingly bad might be the more appropriate question for this show because you guys are both a little down on the Texans, right?
Not down, but I think that they're getting
A little too much hype.
an insane amount of hype. They won what? They won 10 games last year.
Were they 10?
9-8,
I can't remember if they were 10. No, they're definitely in double digits, I believe.
10-7. But that took CJ Stroud absolutely balling out. And like I feel like that could have been a ceiling for them right now.
Ziggy, how about you? Would you agree with the Texans? You were talking about the Bills, right?
Yeah, I mean the Texans, they're at 10.5 or at 9.5. I can absolutely see them going below. But the team, I don't understand why people are so high on this team. I really, as good as they were last year, I think the Ravens under 11.5
Yeah,
is
that's
the
the big
easiest
one. I
pick
know
of
you've
the
been on them.
offseason.
Yeah.
Like they lost so much. I love Lamar. I like the offense. I think it's good. But keep in mind with 11, that was 12 wins. That's 12-5. You have to win almost all your games. The defense is going to be significantly worse next year. I don't think they deserve to have the highest win total in the NFL. And people will be shocked to see them finish fourth in the division.
Yeah, I was going to say also the division. I mean, talk about the Steelers twice, the Browns twice from the defense they have, and Burrow's back now. I mean, that's 6 really tough games right there that you have to win, let alone the first place schedule that you're going to play. I think that's a solid pick there. I could see some regret. What's the Browns win total? Do you have that in front of you?
Yeah, the Browns are 8.5.
Yeah, I think
so. They're predicting a regression of like 3 wins.
Yeah, I think regression from Cleveland could be expected. I mean that defense was so good last year. They caught a little bit of magic with Joe Flacco there at the end. Still a good team, but I'd be surprised to see them with 11 replicating last season. Probably closer to 9.
The AFC North too is a tough schedule. I think that they play Philly. They play the NFC East, which I believe is Philly, Dallas.
What, Giants and Commanders?
Giants and Commanders. Yeah, but like I mean, just the hard games. It's Philly, Dallas. I believe San Francisco. The NFC West is on the schedule.
But you got only one, right, in the West. I don't know what. We'll have to take.
I got to double check, but it's a tough schedule.
And how about the Cowboys? What's their win total, Ziggy? Before we move on,
I believe the Cowboys they're 10.5.
You see, I like the over for Dallas all the time. I think that they're
a good regular season team.
They're a great regular season team. I think they'll take care of the Commanders and the Giants.
That's probably 4 wins.
And
yeah,
then you split with the Eagles, maybe. I mean, what's the first place schedule in the NFC look like? You got the 49ers, the Lions. All right, I kind of like Dallas over a lot lately. And then Elise says, "Would you predict the NFC North divisional standings?"
Elise,
we were all split. I think we were on the Lions, Packers, Bears, Vikings. Is what we.
You can go back and watch our episode. We predicted the standings for every single NFL team.
Yeah,
every single division. You should take a look at that.
I wonder if that Elise is my old neighbor.
Could be. Very well could be.
Yeah.
The Amphibinator. Yeah, that's pretty good. The Amphibinator says, "Hey guys, love your show. Got a question. Which wide receivers in the league right now do you think are underrated? Who do you think could have a major breakout this season?"
Oh.
And then bonus question, which NFL team's mascot would win in a fight? Win in a
Oh,
fight?
Steely McBeam. He's kicking the crap out of everybody else. Steely McBeam, for sure. Not even being biased. Steely McBeam. Have you seen that dude?
No, I haven't seen Steely McBeam. I didn't even know Steely McBeam existed.
He does. He's a Steelers mascot.
I'm trying to think, a good mascot to win in a fight? I'd be rooting for the Colts mascot. Big fan of whatever the Colts mascot name is.
That horse?
No. It's like the thing, whatever it is.
Oh, that's the Broncos is the big horse mascot.
Yeah,
right?
Broncos is the horse. Yeah. The Colts had that weird like fanatic, like Philly fanatic kind of a thing.
Oh yeah, okay.
Really funny.
We're doing the bonus question before we do the main question.
I think we just quickly acknowledged it. Why do you have a mascot in mind?
No, I'm fine with it.
He's just furious.
I mean, the Titan probably wins, right? Mythological creature.
Yeah, Titan probably wins.
What are an eagle?
An eagle versus.
I mean, doesn't the Titan just
flick it? All right. So the question:
a bear,
a bear versus a Titan. Jack's stuck with animals right now.
Strong animals.
I'll tell you what wide receiver is going to have a major breakout this year. People are going to come in and say, "Oh, George Pickens, he's going to have a breakout." It's not a breakout when everyone's expecting
well, obviously
it.
That's what Jack was going to say.
Yeah, the breakout is someone you're not expecting, someone you haven't heard of. Now, people are going to say this is Ziggy's cardinal bias. Michael Wilson is going to have a breakout season. I don't think many people realize just how good he was last year. Now, I get it. He put up 550 yards and 3 touchdowns in 12 games. You think big whoop. Seeing him on the field, if you go back and watch the tape, there was so much to like about this guy. I really think this year is the Michael Wilson breakout season.
Michael Wilson on your fantasy team, Ziggy?
Nope.
I was waiting for that.
You know what I can see happening? I can see the Giants being like 5-12, but Jalen Hyatt just popping off. So I'm gonna say Jalen Hyatt.
I'm gonna take Ziggy's cop out. And
you taking Pickens?
No, not Pickens, but just the cop out philosophy here. I'm looking more at receivers who I think could elevate to another level. Not necessarily that I think this one is going to happen. I'm kind of torn on this.
Oh, just say it.
Say the name. Say the name.
All right.
Say the name.
I think that with Kirk Cousins, Drake London could take a big step forward. From,
that's actually good.
Like, I think he could leap tiers in terms of how people compare him. Right now, if you said Drake London, I don't think a lot of people, or you said name top 10 receivers in the league.
It's just that's true. It's just there's only so much room to break out after you put up two seasons over 850 yards.
Oh, I mean, I think but who's throwing in the ball? That's the thing. Like,
but I mean, if he goes,
Kirk is an unbelievable.
It's harder to go from good to great. There's a chance he does that this season.
Like if he has 1,100 yards, is that a breakout year? It is, right?
Oh, I think if he goes for 1,200 yards, that is launching another level.
That's the next level, yeah.
Well, particularly he's going to be looking to add touchdowns, right? He's never had he's had 6 touchdowns over the past 2 years.
I mean, none of the Falcons receivers have touchdowns. Like no one, Pitts does nothing. Like Kirk Cousins is going to be a revelation for that offense, the passing attack in terms of stats. In terms of another receiver who's underrated, I think Amon-Ra St. Brown is really underrated for someone who put up 1,500 yards last year and double-digit touchdowns. If you talk about, again, top 5, top 10 receivers to just a general person, I'm not sure anyone's actually going to say Amon-Ra. I don't know how many people know who Amon-Ra St. Brown is for how much of a superstar he played. He played like
he had 1,500 yards. You said
1,500 yards, 10 touchdowns last. I mean, he was fantastic.
I felt like every time I was watching the Lions play, the ball was going into his hands. I mean, he was great.
119 receptions. Dude was on another planet.
He was a number one.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, easily.
By far.
Yeah. So I think Amon-Ra is a good underrated. And of course, Amari Cooper is always floating under the radar.
How many people realize that Amari Cooper's made 5 Pro Bowls in his career?
Ziggy was on a big Amari Cooper kick this morning in our group.
Yeah, no, if Marvin Harrison Jr. has the Amari Cooper career, he has exceeded all reasonable expectations by a good amount.
Look, I'm not. Amari Cooper's a great receiver. I don't want to argue that. I'm just saying. I think Marvin Harrison.
You think Jerry Jeudy breaks out?
That was another one I kind of liked. I think
Watson has
but who's throwing to him?
Yeah, that's the problem.
I know. But Watson has a good year, surprisingly, and you never know.
I think he's a candidate for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, but let's see. Jerry Jeudy put up over the past 2 seasons. He's put up like 1,700 yards. Is he going to do better than that over the next 2 seasons? I doubt it. He might do a little better, but not, like Paul said, by a tier better.
Ziggy, since you're more of an X's and O's guy on this show, James Library says, "Hey guys, if you were building a roster, what would your preferred style of offense be? Is there one that particularly sticks out to you?"
Boy, that's a good question. I mean, the answer you have to go with, I know this is kind of a general answer, but like those Shanahan motion offenses, there's a reason they've completely taken over the NFL, right? The kinds of things, and I get that not everybody is doing this, but if you're looking for systems that have had repeated success in multiple areas, you get whoever's in the Shanahan McVay tree, right? You say, look, we're going to run 50, 60, 70% pre-snap motion. We're going to get a bunch of wide receivers out there. We're going to run some crazy routes and we'll call it a day. Now, I know that like Ben Johnson hates that stuff and he's had a lot of success. If I could get Ben Johnson in my organization, whatever he wants to call, he can call. But if you're asking me for the style of offense, there's one direction the NFL's going, and that's it.
The motion offenses are a lot of fun too, just to watch. When like someone who's really mastered it, like a Shanahan, Mike McDaniel has a ton of pre-snap motion, and you listen to defenders talk about them, they just say like we have no idea.
I mean, Tyreek Hill is running at full speed before the play starts.
Oh yeah, no.
What are you supposed to do?
Yeah, defenders are going like we have no idea, 1, where they're going, and 2, how we could keep up in some situations. With the right guys, the motion offense is just so difficult to defend.
You know what I like? I like going 5 wide.
Run.
No, 5 wide, empty backfield, no huddle offense, and just launching the ball. I remember those days when Big Ben would go like 38 for 52 for 600 yards and 6 touchdowns, just score 50 points a game, but the defense was just terrible.
Yeah.
I just like throwing it all over the field.
Dan Stoyer says, "Hey guys, forgot to mention this last time, but congrats on 10K subs. Here's to enjoying the journey on the way to 20K. Thank you, Dan. Appreciate that. One, will you guys do a live NFL draft show for round one? It'd be fun to see your response to the Vikings pick as well as the Steelers pick for Jack. A lot more love for Jack now that
I appreciate it.
Now that he bitched and moaned on the show a little bit.
Well, I was sitting through these mailbags and I was getting no questions. I'm sitting with these
and the questions for me and Ziggy and hate mail.
Yeah, these NFC North questions. I'm like, I don't know. Give me some Steelers stuff.
I don't think we're gonna be able to do a live during the NFL draft. We were hoping to, but Ziggy is busy. Jack is on vacation.
Oh, I'll be in Nashville. Anybody who's ever been there, give me some bar recommendations, maybe restaurant recommendations. I'm open to anything.
But I might be around to do some quick reactions to some picks. And the next day, I think Ziggy is also around, so we will definitely have some draft coverage coming.
Oh no, the next day I'm presenting my paper at a conference, Paul.
Ziggy.
Oh yeah,
you'll get a quick reaction from me, but mostly if you want to hear my longer thinking that day, it'll be about Mary Shepard's theory of induction with respect to natural kinds and a response to Humean skepticism.
Ziggy,
I mean, I could listen to that all day.
You want to come to Nashville next weekend?
Absolutely not. I will be in Denver.
Worth a try.
So
be in Denver.
So we're gonna have maybe actually what we do is we go on the ground and Jack's doing Broncos coverage. You're doing Titans coverage. I could stick around here. Jets and Giants camp. We send Zach somewhere. Maybe Minnesota or Wisconsin.
Ray, you stick here. I'll cover the Titans.
And we'll cover some teams. you imagine Jack reporting from Titans draft parties?
I mean, I would love to.
I mean, they're our team, the Titans.
Yeah, they're the first. They commented on our stuff.
Question 2 from Dan is: Who in your opinion has the potential to be the biggest round one bust this year? It's got to be
Caleb Williams.
No. It's got to be a quarterback.
It's Caleb Williams. I mean, he's the most hyped up prospect I've ever seen in my life. Why? I don't know. I mean, it's got to be Caleb Williams.
I mean, I think that JJ McCarthy has risen so high up with, again, I know NFL evaluators like what they see a lot, and it just seems like he's rising also because he's a good person. I'm very, very nervous about McCarthy. And then I have my concerns with Jaden Daniels. I know people are very pumped up, but I don't know. There's something about it. It just feels a little bit off to me. I love the athleticism, but he's kind of a little small in terms of body weight. It's just 1 year. It was a great year. The talent he had at LSU on the outside. I'm a little hesitant on Daniels.
Can I give someone who's not a quarterback?
Please.
Because we've been talking about quarterbacks. The person who stands out to me, this is someone with admittedly big boom potential, but also big bust potential. Chop Robinson out of Penn State. And I don't know exactly what people are going to do with him, but he is a freaky athlete with virtually no pass rushing skills and virtually little production, right? This is a guy, I mean, he did really, really well against some of the worst tackles in the Big Ten. But when it came time to play big guys, it was clear he didn't have the technical moves. If he can use that athleticism and develop pass rushing skills, not quite like Micah Parsons did, but a lot of what Micah Parsons did, he could be an impact defender. If not, he's going to go and he'll be yet another elite athlete that washes out of the NFL.
But we're talking about in terms of Caleb Williams, the most
Jack's like, I hear what you say.
Jack just wants to complain about Caleb Williams.
I understand. I get where you're coming from, but like Caleb's being talked about as like already the best Bears quarterback they've ever had before taking a snap. And this is a dude.
He probably is.
But this is a guy who went 6-6 and was significantly worse after losing Jordan Addison. I don't understand it. Like, what is the deal with him? Like that?
Yeah, because you don't watch film.
I do. I watch every single USC game. He went 6-6. He threw 5 picks against Notre Dame. He was so much worse when Jordan Addison was gone.
I thought that he had a significantly worse roster around him this season and was running for his life and still did some unbelievable. Like I mean, you can't deny that he makes unbelievable plays.
But so does a lot of other people. Justin Fields of Ohio State made great plays too. Like Caleb Williams didn't win the Pac-12.
If you put Caleb Williams on the Justin Fields Ohio State team, they win the national.
You know who tore at the Pac-12? Marcus Mariota. Remember how good Marcus Mariota was?
Oh yeah, no.
I mean,
there is bust potential forever.
Like we're talking about this guy, like he's like Superman. Like he's the answer. If the biggest bust will be him.
Okay. Okay, I mean,
I think he's going to be a bust. I think he'll run for his life, make some stupid throw across his body, and get picked off and get murdered. I don't think he's that good.
that's just Jack's excuse for a quick rant on Caleb. Jack doesn't like the any of the projected number one quarterback. So it seems
I was right about Bryce Young.
potential.
I don't see where that came from. I'm warning you about Bryce Williams too. If the Bears are listening to this, I'm warning you.
Well, what would you do at number one?
I take
May?
no, I take what's his name?
Daniel McCarthy?
Marvin Harrison Jr.
Oh, Marvin Harris.
Yeah.
Hey, what? Who's throwing to him?
Who's the number one pick?
The Bears.
Oh, yes, I would have kept Fields. No, then I take.
You would have kept 6th round conditional draft.
No, I think JJ
Fields.
McCarthy number one.
JJ McCarthy.
All right. Next question, please.
By the
I
way,
don't wanna
Ziggy,
hear
Daniil
this.
Hunter was the guy that I was thinking of. Came in just raw athletic talent, not necessarily a great pass rusher. And when those guys can flip the switch.
Yeah, I mean, it's unbelievable what they can do.
Yeah.
Daniil Hunter was a little bit less of an athlete than Chop Robinson.
From
Still, of course.
Didn't Chopper number 11 at Penn State?
Yeah.
It's like the linebacker
from
number there.
IT Worowski. Again,
Are you sure that's not LT?
LT Worowski. My bad.
Almost a lowercase L.
You never know. You never.
I mean, if that's Lieutenant Worowski, that's pretty easy, huh?
Lieutenant Worowski. All right, Lieutenant Worowski says, "Hey guys, another Packer fan here who would like to hear your thoughts. Unfortunately, my boyfriend is a massive Cardinals fan, so I end up watching more of their games during football season. This is the most Cardinals we've ever had.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't
there
know
are
that
Cardinals
Cardinals
fans.
fans
There are Cardinals
existed,
fans.
honestly.
Coming out.
They're coming out.
What would you do this year to start turning them around with the goal of 8 or 9 wins and a possible playoff appearance?
Say the
In parentheses, I'm losing my mind.
pray the rosary. You say a bunch of Our Fathers, a bunch of Hail Marys, and hope for the best.
Hold on a second. Ziggy's all in. Ziggy loves the Cardinals right now. Is that right? You just said it.
Yeah, we're talking
What in
playoffs
the
though.
world?
Playoff.
Look, the Cardinals, if you just look at their depth chart right now, here's who Kyler Murray's throwing the football to. Michael Wilson, Ziggy's boy, future Hall of Famer Michael Wilson. Greg Dortch, Chris Moore, our boy from formerly of the Tennessee Titans, and Trey McBride, who actually had a pretty big year last year. That needs to improve. And that's what they're going to do when they take Marvin Harrison Jr. You got to improve the weapons around Kyler. And then, look, candidly, there's a lot of holes on this team. And I know they addressed the defensive line a bit in free agency. Need some more pass rushers. Need some more help at corner. They went out and got Sean Murphy Bunting. That helps.
Yeah, he's all right.
Yeah, that helps for sure. But both the lines and the secondary need a little bit of work. I would just say they're in the nice phase of rebuilding. And the one thing to be happy about if you're a Cardinals fan is you have a good quarterback, and at times a very good quarterback, which is more than a lot of teams.
Yeah, Kyler's finally getting a healthy offseason with the new offense. Here's what you need, right? They've got 6 draft picks in the top 90. If you hit if Marvin Harrison Jr. is good, right? He doesn't need to be Jamar Chase. He just needs to be
Amari Cooper,
a 1,000-yard receiver his rookie season, which is heartily impossible. You hit a cornerback and you hit a linebacker. If you can do that in the top 90, this is the second best team in the NFC West. If you're the second best team in your division, you can make the playoffs. It's that simple.
I agree. I don't think the Cardinals are as far away as people think.
Do we know if does this person live in Arizona?
Oh, no idea.
I don't know.
No idea. But I like Gannon too. I think he's a good coach. I think he's got the respect of that locker room right now. I kind of like that. Let's see here.
Arizona's cool.
The amazing Oppo 4918 says, who would win in a fight, the Zigster, Jack, Zach, or that other guy?
Are you the other guy?
Yeah, I'm the other guy.
Is this the first time listener?
The
Me.
amazing Oppo.
Me. I have the stamina.
You have the stamina?
I wouldn't go down.
For context, I just watched Jack lose to a 12th grader in a one-on-one basketball game, and I thought he was going to die on point 4.
Well, that one-on-one basketball's tough.
Well, that was right in the next question, Paul.
Ziggy would win a fight, I think.
Zach would win. Zach is a
Zach would kick our asses. Yeah.
Assuming
Producer Zach absolutely beats us.
Yeah, Zach's been
but
training
if Jack can't
jiu-jitsu.
win a one-on-one basketball game, no chance.
It was so bad. I thought Jack was actually going to die on the court.
See, what you need is The real question isn't who would win in a fight; it's who would come out on top. And I think I can convince you all to stop fighting.
Like a 3-on-1 versus Zach would be a fun question. If you get a healthy Zach, a 3-on-1
I think a healthy.
Honestly, an injured Zach. As long as you give him some steroids to push through the pain.
A healthy Zach versus us three mauls us.
The great thing is we know Zach won't go back and listen to the show, so we could gas him up.
Yes, we can gas him up here. If Zach was sitting here, I wouldn't say a word.
No. If Zach was sitting here, I mean, I'm kicking his ass. But
we talk about a race. I'm winning a race.
I mean, look. It depends how long the race. No, I'm not. Actually, Ziggy's a good runner.
You're not winning the race.
I was a good runner. I'm not.
Ryu Hitsuya, 21, says, "Wait, Ziggy, is that the question you were talking about?"
No, the next question was who comes out on top.
Oh, yes. That would probably be Ziggy. Ryu Hitsuya, 21, says, "What are some of the more interesting coaching situations in the league? Which ones do you think recover or move on?" Steelers were the inspiration for this, Jack. So this one's
there
for
we
you.
There we go.
Mike Tomlin is actually a fun situation.
No, it is. I mean, it's he gets his flowers, deservedly so. We know his whole story.
The hell are you talking about?
Hasn't had a losing season.
Oh yeah, but I think Mike Tomlin's under pressure this year to win for sure. Following last season,
I don't. I think it's the opposite. Like I've said this so many times. I feel that Mike Tomlin had Ben Roethlisberger and all these superstars and was very good. The Steelers roster in the last however many years really has not been a playoff caliber roster, and we've gone there. We've lacked a quarterback for what?
Oh yeah, no. I think Tomlin's a great
6 years.
Yeah, I like Tomlin.
Like, why is the pressure under Mike Tomlin this year? Because of Justin Fields and Russell Wilson.
I think people want to win, and the Steelers haven't really been winning. They win enough to get in and then get murdered.
But have we had a team who can win?
I think that's part of it.
No way. I mean, that's not Tomlin's fault. When we had a team who could win, we went to the AFC Championship game.
There are bits and pieces, I'm sure, that are Tomlin's fault, but
no. But ultimately, I mean, he's made the most out of the talent.
I agree. I like Mike Tomlin,
and it's tough for me to fault a guy who there's no coach in NFL history has been able to consistently win like he has.
Ziggy, I'm going to tell you right now the 5 most interesting coaches for this season for various reasons. Ready?
Go for it.
No particular order. Mike McCarthy, whether he's going to stick around Dallas or not, depending on what happens. We also will have, let me just go through here, Sean Payton year 2, because that could, if that goes poorly,
that could go bad.
I don't know what the hell's going to happen.
That's going to go bad.
Yeah. Jim Harbaugh is clearly one of the ones to pay attention to.
For sure.
Here in LA. Just looking at the teams here right now. Personally speaking, I am excited to see. I think that Sean McDermott in Buffalo is another big one to watch. Because if they miss the playoffs, and again, remember a lot of pieces leaving Buffalo this year. If they miss the playoffs, I could see him being fired and the Bills looking for a new coach. So far, so good.
Yeah.
And this last one's a little trickier for me. Like I think Antonio.
I know what my last
with
one
the Raiders, but the last one I'm gonna go with. Hold on, let me look here.
Can I help you out?
I'm gonna go with I think Brian Dable.
Oh, see, that's not interesting because he's getting fired.
I think it'll be. I mean, I think it'll be interesting because he will be gone, and the Giants will have a spot, and a great coach will be on the market. But what? Who's your 5?
How much Jonathan Gannon gets offered once he guides the Cardinals to the playoffs? What kind of extension he's getting?
I really like. Think about how good. Now we talked about the Eagles falling apart at the end of last year. Jonathan Gannon, Shane Steichen, both pretty solid opening seasons for their teams, and at least on this show, we're pretty bullish about the futures for the Cardinals and the Colts. It's not that surprising that the Eagles struggled a little bit more last season. Okay, so do you think those 5 I said?
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. McDermott jumps out at me there.
McDermott does too to me
because what's been a Super Bowl level roster, like this is unlike the Steelers. In the last 5-6 years, Buffalo's been a Super Bowl type of team and has not gotten there.
Mm-hmm.
Now this year, if you fail to make the playoffs, I think he's out.
Buffalo's a little bit like the Cowboys to me. McCarthy and,
Yeah.
and McDermott are in
They're the Cowboys of the
kind of
NFC.
similar positions. Okay, next question we have here is which AFC North? We'll let Jack answer this one. Which
From
AFC
Merle.
North? Yeah,
Oh, longtime fan Merle.
yeah, from Merle.
Oh,
Who is,
Mark, nice. Is
yeah,
Merle a
yeah.
Steeler fan?
Merle's a Viking.
Oh, it's a Viking fan. Okay.
Just mixing it up, I think. Which AFC North team has the brightest future? Who has the darkest?
Well, thanks, Merle. I appreciate it. Brightest futures the Steelers. Justin Fields, young QB. George Pickens, young receiver. Young defense for the most part.
Actual answer is the Bengals. And
Oh, yeah, yeah. The Bengals is the answer, and the darkest, the Browns.
the Browns is definitely the darkest. That contract, oh my gosh, yeah.
Then you got Ravens and Pittsburgh right in the middle, 2-3.
Yeah. I would go Bengals, Ravens, Steelers, Browns.
Then I switch to Ravens and Steelers.
Caleb Brown, 3526 says, question for Jack. I mean, it's just turned into a Jack show today.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
How poorly did the Steelers handle the Kenny Pickett situation? Matt Canada is the worst, obviously. I can't help but wonder if Kenny could have been good under different circumstances. There's also the possibility that he just isn't good. Curious to hear your thoughts on this.
Yeah, here's the thing. So when he was wearing black and gold in a steel uniform, I was doing my best to find bright spots, find positives, and to stay hopeful because he was our quarterback. And the Steelers' record in games that he started and finished somehow ended up being pretty good. But there are some times you can just tell from watching someone play that he's really like with him under center, this team wasn't going to ever win a thing.
Mm-hmm.
He's a very, very good backup quarterback, low level starter at best. I think most people would probably agree. Like we struggled to push the ball up the field. He looked a bit unconfident.
I mean, it's horrible for 3/4 of every game, and
yeah,
then have
I
crazy
think,
fourth quarter comeback because no one, the Steelers have that.
I think even we lost confidence in him. I think he's a low level starter, very good backup, but I don't think he's really any good. And I tried to find bright spots and positives for a long time in him.
More than most, longer than most.
Longer than like I had a long leash with Kenny Pickett. I don't think he's very good.
Let's see here. Ziggy, do you want to add anything on that?
No, I don't think that anything would have made Pickett great, but boy, the situation was bad.
Situation was bad. Yeah,
It was a bad situation.
It was a bad OC. The weapons were not great. Like it was tough.
I thought we were getting a boy howdy there for a second. I was waiting.
I mean, a
for
bit
it.
fitting because I'll be in Nashville next week.
Boy howdy. It's been a while. Matt Nels, who is a member.
A member.
Member. Sorry.
As a note, we've added a lot of members recently. We really appreciate all of you. And if you're a member, we're still working out ways that we can provide value to you. But one thing we can tell you, you ask question in the mailbag, if you're a member, we'll get read.
Yes. No matter what, you will get read and probably respond to us well on YouTube.
But if you want to troll us, we are required to read it. So
Matt Nels says, who are the most talented players of all time in your opinions? Also, which players throughout history do you think had the most potential, but perhaps got a career-ending injury or an early retirement?
I have an unusual answer for most skilled player of all time.
Yeah, let's hear it.
My answer for most skilled player of all time, Darryl Green.
Okay.
Now, so because here's the thing, right? Darryl Green, 5'9", 180. Not exactly prototypical NFL defender size, right? Then you add in the fact that he made a Pro Bowl in his year 15 season and still played another 6 years on top of that. There have been guys that are more athletically talented. He's not the best cornerback of all time, but if you're talking most skilled, a guy with very little size being able to play for 20 years and be really good for almost every single one of them, I think that's incredible stuff.
I think the most skilled player that I've ever seen in my 25 years.
I'm trying to think of guys that I
like guys that I've watched. I think the most skilled player is non-biasedly Antonio Brown, and he's my same answer for players I'm disappointed kind of ended their career.
I mean, Antonio Brown was insane for a long time.
Antonio Brown, if he stayed in Pittsburgh, didn't go nuts, I believe would have gone down as a top 3 receiver of all time. I mean,
him going nuts has made people forget that there was a 7-year stretch where he was the best receiver in the NFL.
Like not even close either. Like
7 might be a little long, but there was definitely a stretch where he was going 18.
Yeah, it was there was like 5 years. Say 5 years.
And he was in such a good situation there too. Like Big Ben loved him.
Yeah.
The connection was so good. If he had stayed there, that's a top 3 receiver of all time.
No,
He had a
like
lot left to
2013 to 2018, Antonio Brown was the best receiver in the NFL for at least 4 of those years.
And he had
if
more.
you take all 5 together, absolutely the best. And I mean, it's unfortunate, I think, that his heinous behavior has cost him the Hall of Fame. Because, I mean, from 2013 to 2017, his worst year by far was 1,300 yards, 12 touchdowns.
I'm not sure he costed himself Hall of Fame.
He's a different level.
He very well might have. But, I mean, that 2018 year when he was out of Pittsburgh, 1,300 yards, 15 touchdowns.
Like, he had a lot more left in the tank.
I mean, I think he'll get in the Hall of Fame, Antonio Brown.
He was so good.
Most skilled player. That I like. There's a lot of players before, like Barry Sanders. You could go on those guys.
It's probably Adrian Peterson.
Dude, Adrian Peterson.
That guy was unbelievable.
Like, I'm trying not to think of Vikings, but obviously those are guys that have stood out in my viewing experiences. Adrian Peterson was just a freak.
He had like 40.
I've never seen anyone. I've really never seen anyone like it. I say Quan. I know I said a few times, and like Derrick Henry maybe had close impacts. McCaffrey. But Adrian Peterson is just the size, strength, and speed of that dude in his prime was sick to watch. It's a shame they never had anyone really who could throw the ball during his time. A couple more off the top of my head. And Randy Moss is just that the speed and like for someone that thin, the fact that he was just that fast too and that tall. I think skill. Aaron Donald, Ziggy, your boy.
Oh yeah.
Tell me one time you watched the Rams game and Aaron Donald wasn't in the backfield on every single play. Like if he wasn't
when he was getting quadrupled, he sometimes
like,
wasn't.
Also for a guy who was a little bit undersized for the position, Aaron Donald skill wise probably wouldn't be mentioned by a lot of people, but he's got to be up there.
Do you know what will fly under the radar in terms of most athletic players is these linebackers?
Oh yeah,
these guys are huge, strong, and run like 4.5s. Like,
they're
like superhuman athletes, these guys. Yeah.
No, some of these guys are insane. I'm trying to think of some guys who had their careers ended earlier.
Andrew Luck.
Andrew.
Oh, you know who's an easy one? Dwight Stevenson.
Dwight Stevenson.
Yeah, no, Zach's not here, so he could talk about it. But do you know Dwight Stevenson?
Zach would know.
Yeah, like Zach would.
No, I mean all time, maybe the best Dolphins player of all time, arguably the most athletic center of all time. He in 7 years he had a Hall of Fame career. He made the Hall of Fame playing only 7 years. Did you realize what that means? How good you have to be?
Yeah, it's phenomenal. Obviously, I haven't heard.
If he hadn't gotten injured, he made what? I think 6 All-Pro teams in those 7 years. He would have made 5 or 6 more. Ugh, cut short. Centers never get any respect, right? Everyone knows Bo Jackson. Centers never get any respect.
Guys, not obviously we know Teddy Bridgewater.
I just don't get like the difference in like a great center versus like a mediocre center.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, no, because he made the Dolphins offensive line. He was the single most important player and one of the best offensive lines.
Is it just like blocking ability mainly?
I mean, the big thing, as a great center, your job is to coordinate everyone around you. And what people don't realize, more than even tackles, you have to be explosive as a center. Because the second you snap, you have to go through the snapping motion and then block, right? You can't get set. That requires a lot of speed that many offensive linemen don't have.
I guess Jason Kelce's a center, right?
I mean, you have to line up with some of the biggest, baddest guys in the NFL in your face, ready to take you out, and you have to snap the ball. Yeah, no chance.
And you're making the reads pre-snap. You're communicating with a bunch of people. Calvin retired at 30. So that I actually think he.
Yeah, but that wasn't. I wouldn't call that a career cut short.
No, I wouldn't either. Career.
I know early retirement's in there, but I don't feel like Calvin Johnson. He would have been good, but I don't feel like he didn't live up to his potential.
I wonder what could have happened with Josh Gordon if he didn't F around so much. I actually don't know if Josh Gordon had a great year. I don't know if he would have been.
But he had a great year.
It was a good year.
This will be unfortunate to say, but what about like Demaryius Thomas?
Well, Demaryius retired.
I know. I know. But how old was he?
He didn't retire due to like injury or whatever, though.
But he just retired. He was out like 30 years old, right?
Yeah.
No, Demaryius. I thought Demaryius was older than that.
I don't think he was.
There was. I mean, yeah. Then you could go. I mean, you could go back and look at people. Like, yeah. There's a bunch of guys, but I know the one I was most upset about as a fan was the Bridgewater injury. Not that I think he would have been insane.
He would have been okay.
Yeah. Caleb Brown says is I could have sworn I just said Caleb Brown.
You did.
Yeah. Did I read?
It's a different question.
Yeah. Caleb Brown says, is Justin Herbert on a... Okay, yeah. I'm not losing... Oh, okay, yeah. I was like, whoa, am I losing my mind here? Caleb Brown says, again, is Justin Herbert on a similar career path to Dak, or will Harbaugh and LA... Yeah, or will Harbaugh get LA and Herbert over the hump?
I mean, Dak is much better right now than Herbert.
People don't realize Dak's had an incredible career
in
terms of individual performance.
Yeah, the first thing I wouldn't say that Dak Prescott, like turning into Dak Prescott is not, he was just second in MVP voting.
Yeah, well, so I read the question as, will Justin Herbert continue to be let down by his team like Dak Prescott has?
Well, I don't.
And the answer is probably.
Yeah, I'm going to disagree. I think that Dak has actually shrunk in a couple really big games. Like he has. When you with them,
yeah, Dak Prescott never blew a gigantic lead to the Jaguars.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, Herbert was not good in that game also. Or at the end of that game, I think it's a disappointment for Chargers fans if Justin Herbert is not better than Dak Prescott in his career, though. Like not decisively better. Which I think right now, if anyone said pick Dak or Herbert for a seat next season, I think most people are probably taking Herbert. Just like even if you look at the numbers, Herbert's gone over 4,000 yards with 3 out of 4 years. Dak has done it 1, 2, 3 times in 8 seasons. Like Herbert is a naturally better thrower, stronger quarterback than Dak Prescott is. So I think, and look, if he ends up as Dak Prescott, still a very good quarterback, but you have like top 5. You want top 5, potentially top 3 quarterback play from Justin Herbert. So I think he will get better with Harbaugh. Harbaugh's a great coach, changed the culture in LA, which is just a loser's culture. So I would be pretty optimistic as a Charger fan.
I mean, it's unfortunate losing Keenan Allen and Austin Eckler.
They have rebuilding to do for sure.
I mean, the expectations next year for Herbert has to be relatively low in my eyes.
Yeah, I mean, next year I don't think there's a huge expectations for the Chargers, but I like the Harbaugh hire. I think he's good. Okay, let's see here. We have from Frank, on paper, player for player, do the Lions really have a better defense than the Packers? Packers have a lot of big name and big production players who people forget about. Maybe I haven't done my research as much as I need to believe, but Green Bay has the better defense. Oh my God, I couldn't read at the end. Maybe I haven't done my research as much as I need to, but I believe Green Bay has the better defense. It is funny. It is fun when you look at these two defenses on paper. There's a lot of talent on both sides. We're not going to go player for player or anything like that. I would probably rather have going into next year. Oh, this is tough because Lions secondary was so bad.
It's not the secondaries, it's the corners, right? This is actually, I think, the question is the Lions made additions to solve the cornerback problem. The Packers made addition to solve the safety problem. Whichever of those signings is better, whoever addresses that area of need in their secondary more is going to be the better team.
Yeah, it's close. I think I'd actually probably go Detroit. Man,
I think they're both going to be slightly above average defenses next year.
I think I'd go Detroit too. I give them the slight nod only because that team is so monstrous up front.
I mean, Hutchinson, I think, is the best player. Hutchinson's a freak off the edge.
That's the best defensive player of the two teams.
But if Jair and Eric Stokes are like, if you're getting good Jair and good Eric Stokes, then I'm probably going Green Bay because now you have 2 solid corners there. Jair is one of the best in the league when he's playing at that level. But again, the Packers line, they were struggling for a lot of last season. They turned it on a bit with pressure at the end of the year. So I think there are definitely holes on both sides. But think about it. The Packers had one of the worst run defenses in the league last season, but it's solid in pass mostly. Lions were the exact opposite. I think that both teams, it's a pretty fun comparison to make because they both do still have holes, but have a lot of talent and potential. I'd go Detroit now, barely. Okay, the last question we have here. Let's see. Do we want anything else here?
No, they're just trying to troll us, Paul.
Yeah, Kirk and Toff.
Packers fans, you win this time.
What are the chances of the Vikings trading up for a quarterback and subsequently passing on the pick? Just kidding. But a man can dream. Go Pack, go! Such a great show, boys. Keep it up. That's referring to when the Vikings actually they wound up drafting Kevin Williams, but I can't believe they were like picking 8 or something like that.
Yeah, and they just missed 2 picks.
Yeah, no. So I don't know if you know how this works, Jack, but if the clock runs out on your team in the NFL draft, whoever's behind you can go up and turn in their pick and can jump you.
I did not know that.
The Vikings were too late on their pick one year, and 2 teams jumped them, made their pick, and then the Vikings handed in their card. They wound up getting Kevin Williams, who's one of the an all-time great Viking.
So maybe we should just do that again.
Yeah, maybe that's the strategy. Maybe we just need an extra few seconds to think.
If history repeats itself.
But can you imagine? We're picking it like we trade up to 5 with the Chargers. That's like, all right, clock's going, boys. Clock's going. And then the Giants jump us and take McCarthy or whoever it is. That would be pretty wild. All right, there you go. There you have a mailbag show. Thanks for everyone who tuned in and who submitted questions. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel. You can always check us out on Spotify or on Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts. Check out the Paul Farrington Show, just paulfarringtonshow.com for the shop. We have a lot of fun shirts there. If you like a design or something, send it over to us. We'll throw it on. We're a very inclusive community here. So any comments and anything you want to say, any questions, send them in. We'll try and get to as many as we can. But with the draft a week away, it's gonna be a fun week next week. It's crazy. It's here.
It's almost Friday.
Yeah,
it's almost Friday.
It's tough to believe. It feels like the NFL season just ended. It ended 2 months ago. Now the draft's here. It's only going to be a quick blink until preseason.
Oh, yeah.
Then another quick blink and the season's back on.
Yeah.
Like football's basically in 2 weeks from now.
Preseason will be here before we know it. We'll be like, wait a minute, there's a preseason game tonight.
Preseason always annoys me a little bit because I'm ready to get back in, and then I'm like, all right, it's
still another month.
Yeah, it's like it's fun to have it back, but at the end of the day, I'm like, all right, I need week one. So yeah, but you're right though, Ziggy. It's right around the corner. So we're excited for what's to come. We'll see you next time.